the notion that these decisions put Trump above the law is absurd. It's the law.
Right.
The law is what gives him immunity. What's above the law is what happened in New York, where a rogue prosecutor indicted him for a non-crime, following what the head of the KGB said to Stalin one day, "Show me the man and I'll find you the crime." This lawfare that has been rejected by the American public and now by the administration, this lawfare has to come to an end. It's destroying America. It's destroying the rule of law. And I think Americans were fed up with it, and that's why so many voted for Trump.
That's right. And you were in that courtroom one time. I recall so vividly you talking about Mershon and the way he was treating Donald Trump, and you had never seen anything like it. And, you know, you've been in one or two courtrooms there over the years. So what happens when he has this choice now? Mershon next week will either freeze this Trump case, which could make it a zombie case, that's what some fear, or toss it out entirely. Do you have a read on what he may do? We know what he should do, that's for sure.
Well, and I know what will happen. They will not be able to hold this over his head for 4 years. That would be, as you say, a zombie case. He is entitled to appeal. And what Bragg is trying to do, he's trying to circumvent the law. He's trying to say, don't give him a sentence. Hold off the sentence for 4 years. That way we prevent him from appealing. We prevent the upper courts from telling the public that what Bragg did was an outrage. So I think that Trump ought to get this case in front of an appellate court.
Yes.
If Judge Mershon tries to put it off 4 years, he should bring what's called a writ of mandamus or an interlocutory appeal, which would take the case to an appellate court and give him an opportunity to reverse the conviction. Look, these cases are over. Trump starts on January 20th, and he will not be in any way subject to the legal system. That's the right way, and that's what's going to happen because the law will understand you can't just put this off for 4 years.
Before we talk about Israel, and I want to get into your piece in the Wall Street Journal, a final, if we can put a finer point on, as you say, it's over. We have Jack Smith did put in his filing yesterday without prejudice, which we know the Trump's DOJ can ultimately change. There's this big question, and it's a two-pronged question, Professor Dershowitz. $100 million was spent by, essentially taxpayer money to fund this lawfare, this weaponization. People are looking for accountability. And to follow that up, what does that look like under a new administration about potentially looking at people who broke laws, whether it be Letitia James or people even higher up at the DOJ?
Yeah. First of all, Donald Trump understated it. It's more like $200 million. $100 million paid for by the government, but another $100 million in legal fees.
Yeah.
Even by people like me, the 65 Project went after me because I defended Donald Trump in the first impeachment, and it set out messages saying we have to disbar every lawyer who ever defended Trump. That's costing me $100,000 in legal fees. That hasn't even been counted. There has to be accountability. I want to see congressional hearings. I want to see subpoenas issued. I want to hear from people who funded these matters. You have Jack Smith. You know where Jack Smith learned how to use lawfare? He learned how to use it at the ICC, the International Criminal Court. That's where he got his experience. He worked for the International Criminal Court, which brings us to connect what Donald Trump has happened to him to what is happening to Israel today. It's the same kind of illegal lawfare.
Yeah. And they plucked him right from The Hague, too. So that weaves us right perfectly to your opinion piece. If people haven't read it, they need to. This is the commentary, your piece in the Wall Street Journal saying, I'm putting together a legal dream team to defend Israel. The ICC issuing those arrest warrants. And folks we know in Congress are saying this ICC needs to be actually destroyed, taken down.
Well, I think we have to do more than that. We have to sanction Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. We have to not allow him to come into the United States. We have to put sanctions on him personally because he said he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, an ally of America, Trudeau, saying he's going to cooperate with that rogue court. Canada has to be held accountable for this, and Trudeau has to be held accountable, along with other Western leaders who said that they would arrest Netanyahu. Because if they're going to arrest Netanyahu today, they're going to arrest Trump tomorrow, because the ICC will use this precedent to go after Americans. We know that, and it's forming a basis for expanding their jurisdiction to countries that haven't signed on to the International Criminal Court. Neither Israel nor the United States are members, and yet they're arresting the prime minister, the elected prime minister of a country. Next, they're going to come after American soldiers.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.